aware of the damage Whole Foods could inflict on Hyde Square. Even in a best-case scenario, the store cannot possibly stock the variety of foods that residents have come to expect from High-Low, and despite assurances to the contrary, Whole Foods is not a place where the average middle or working-class family can afford to shop on a regular basis. That said, I support the opening of the new store because I believe the economic health and vitality of Hyde Square is at stake. I have lived in Hyde Square for 7 years, and in my opinion, the neighborhood is dangerously close to a tipping point. The Milky Way and Bella Luna have been closed for years. The June bug is gone. I've heard no serious discussions about alternative retailers looking to move into the High-Low space, and I believe that this is because there aren't any. It seems unlikely that a mainline grocery store would commit to an aging facility located a quarter mile from a newly remodeled Stop and Shop. Taking the position that we as a neighborhood council should fight to keep Whole Foods out of Jamaica Plain is not only counterproductive and inappropriate, but is in my opinion irresponsible. I believe the role of the council is to act as a liaison between the community and Whole Foods, working with them to ensure that they do everything in their power to serve all the residents of Jamaica Plain.
I respect that we haven't heard from Whole Foods, sort of, but based on what the issues are that people are concerned about, I'm not sure that there's anything Whole Foods can say to us that would mitigate those issues, which is why I chose the thought.
The rush is that they're going to be starting to move into that building at the end of March. And I think that if we keep hesitating on it, we lose our capacity to actually oppose them coming in at all. And that's a strong voice that I've heard and that I want to support, is opposing them coming in at all.
And I've seen too many people, too many friends, too many families pushed out of JP, especially Latinos. Whole Foods is the ultimate symbol of gentrification. And it will destroy Hyde Square and down, which is the only place that is still diverse.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
All in favor. Nine to 8. It passes. This type of decision has some similarities to what the Neighborhood Council looked at in the past. The simplest one was D'Angelo's wanted to move in at the corner of Severns and Center Street a few years back. Now that's a much smaller development. But they had signed a lease and then they pulled out because of neighborhood opposition. So that has some similarities since it was a private development that needed some zoning in the future, but realized that they weren't going to get it, so they pulled out. Domino's tried to move into at least 2 locations in Jamaica Plain, Forest Hills, and they started meeting with the community before asking for any zoning relief, and they were told twice at Forest Hills not to come in. And then they tried to go in where JP Knit and Stitch just opened up at the corner of Moraine and got shot down. Not at the JP Neighborhood Council level, but the process we set up to go to meet with local community groups before that. So they got shot down by the Pond Association, which is the residential group in the area, and by the Business Association that's in that area. So there were processes before the Neighborhood Council, which we strongly encourage and set up, that these groups can go to. They have not come to any of them here. Looking at this location, or Hyde Square, I was thought of two things. One is this community, it seems funny, there was a request by the Catholic Church for a zoning change at the Rectory of Blessed Sacrament years and years ago, to be able to move the parish priest out, to keep the parish priest at the parish, but physically move his sleeping accommodations to Our Lady of Lourdes Church so that they could rent that for an office space, which seems pretty small. The neighborhood was extremely strongly opposed because they saw this as the first step in the church pulling out of Blessed Sacrament and the neighborhood starting to change. So it was it's sort of the reverse. It was an early zoning that had really nothing to do. The community saw a much larger picture, and they really fought the zoning. They really fought the Catholic Church, which was a big deal for this neighborhood. Jamaica Plain, 20 years ago, when the neighborhood council was set up, or more, 25 years ago, was trying to encourage. A lot of people had disinvested in the neighborhood. And the whole process was trying to get investment into the neighborhood. People, to stop people from walking away from their houses, believe it or not. People walked away for the tax, they gave it away for the taxes. It's very different from now. And a lot of work was done by the Neighborhood Development Corporation and Urban Edge and other groups at that time to try to encourage investment in the neighborhood. Gentrification is very hard to stop, and it needs some very innovative ideas. Which is my long speech on why I didn't talk.